Facts First presents. It doesn't take a genius to know this is not okay. The people who build houses, streets, or any other structures have to know what they're doing. If they make a mistake, it could result in deadly consequences for everybody around them. Here are a few photos of construction fails. Some of them are funny, some are downright dangerous. Beware bikers. It doesn't take a genius to know this is not okay. The person who put up the guardrail obviously didn't notice the bike lane painted in bright orange and white. If a biker who takes this route every day rides down the road quickly, it could result in a serious accident. If something like that happens, you can only hope they're wearing a helmet. Laziness. The clocks in schools need to be accurate so that students can be sure to get to class on time. When the clock in this hallway stopped working, the custodial engineer was told to replace the clock. Well, rather than removing the original clock and putting up a new one, they decided to stick a smaller clock over the broken one. Well, I guess that is a lot easier than hanging a new clock. If they keep doing this, continually adding a smaller clock on top of the one that stops, they're eventually going to have a clock the size of a wristwatch. What were they thinking? Whoever designed this bathroom had absolutely zero sense. Why would they put the soap dispenser on the mirror? What happens if the person using the middle sink wants to wash their hands? What if the people using the two sinks on the end want to use the soap but somebody's using the middle sink? This bathroom layout just makes zero sense. Has the person who designed it ever been in a public bathroom in their life? You don't have to be a genius to realize this just doesn't work. Who did this? Whoever thought this would be the perfect spot to install a ceiling fan should be fired immediately. Do they not realize the fan's not going to spin with that massive pillar in the way? As soon as the fan starts to turn, it's going to be stopped by the pillar. When they realized it was a stupid idea, why didn't they just take the fan down? So what was their solution? Well, they hung a tiny fan to replace the ceiling fan, which they believed would make everything all right. It doesn't. Even the best of intentions can fail. The officials in this town care about the cyclists on the road, and they want to be sure that they have equal space on the road, so they put up a sign reminding drivers to share the road. Unfortunately, their good intentions failed because the cyclists will have to ride right out into the road to avoid the sign that reminds drivers to give those cyclists space. Kinda defeats the whole purpose of the sign. Good luck getting out! The purpose of this ladder is to be able to climb down the tunnel and then back up again. Whoever designed it, though, didn't do a very good job. The portions of the ladder should have been lined up. The way these ladders were designed would make it impossible for a person to climb up or down unless they just won the American Ninja Warrior Championship. It's not safe, it's not smart, and it makes no sense. Safety exit. According to building codes, buildings need to have emergency exits. These are essential in the case of a fire or any other emergency that would require people to evacuate as quickly as possible. During some emergencies, the main entrance might not be accessible, so the emergency exit is the only way out. Whoever designed this building clearly didn't understand what's meant by an emergency exit. Sure, yeah, there does need to be a door there, but you also need to make sure that people can get through the door in case of an emergency. This emergency door is blocked off by bricks, making it essentially useless. Can you really prevent an emergency? This building has an emergency phone, but, well, the phone is out of order. The note on the phone reads, "Emergency phone is out of service. Please do not have an emergency at this location." Do people really prepare ahead of time for an accident? If the emergencies and the areas where they occur could be planned, they wouldn't need a phone at all, nor would they be called accidents. Maybe somebody should just fix the phone so that they can take down that nonsensical sign. I'm really hoping this is just a joke. Security door fail. The owner of this building wanted to give it a modern look while keeping it secure. Unfortunately, they failed horribly. Rather than putting the bars going vertically, they thought that horizontal bars would give it some pizzazz. Unfortunately, all they did was create a ladder for anybody to climb and jump over to the other side. The door doesn't add any security at all. It only takes a bit longer to get past it. Who bought this mirror? When a person stays in a hotel, the bathroom mirror is essential. Hotel guests need to shave, do their hair, put on makeup, check out their appearance. Whoever was responsible for hanging this mirror really failed. How are you supposed to see anything in a mirror like this? He chose the wrong HVAC company. Having a new HVAC system installed is a pretty big deal. It's expensive, it's complicated to do, so you got to make sure that you hire a reputable company. This homeowner clearly did not read the company's reviews before hiring them. Having a bedroom with a window and a small balcony is likely one of the homeowner's favorite things about the house. When the company installed the ductwork, not only did they cover up the window, they also cut a hole down the middle of the balcony. Someone was confused. The street crew's only job was to paint markings and put up signs on the street so that drivers would know which way to go. Unfortunately, it's practically impossible to know which way to go with this. On the street, they painted the words left and right over one another with an arrow that points both ways. And if that's not confusing enough, there are two signs pointing left. Unfortunately, the sign across the street that signifies no left turns makes things even more complicated. So what do you do when you come up to this? Oh, Doug. Doug's boss at Express Lube told him numerous times to change the sign outside. Clearly, Doug forgot because his boss changed the sign for him, and it read, "Doug, this is the sign I asked you to change." Wouldn't it have been easier and more efficient for Doug's boss just to put up the sign he wanted rather than calling Doug out for his mistake and mocking him? On the plus side, though, I'm guessing Doug learned the lesson and won't make that mistake ever again. Whose idea was this? When a person uses a public restroom, they want their privacy. The last thing they want is for a hallway full of people to be able to look through a window and watch them do their business. The problem here is more with the door than the positioning of the toilet itself. There's no need for a window on the door of a public restroom. Too close for comfort. Well, here's another case of somebody not understanding the idea of needing privacy while in a public restroom. Most toilets are in private stalls, giving a person a bit of privacy that they need. Not only are these toilets not in their own stalls, but they're facing one another. Who wants to use the bathroom while looking a stranger in the eye? Not me. A bit off-center. To get to the second, third, and fourth floors, you have to take the spiral staircase. The person who installed the stairs must not have been wearing their glasses because the landings they don't line up with the doors. For the residents to get into their homes, they would have to jump and hoping that they catch the ledge in time. This is a stupid, irresponsible mistake. We can only hope that this is a Photoshop job. That is not how you use a ladder. Most people know how to use a ladder. Well, this guy is an experienced construction worker, and he knew that he wouldn't have appropriate balance if he were to use the ladder incorrectly. So he used a bit of imagination to create a more sturdy way to reach the ceiling. Hey, he's an expert. Don't you try this at home. What's the point? Buildings are equipped with fire escapes just in case there is no access to the main doors or emergency exits. The person who built this building had good intentions, but they didn't make the fire escape long enough. All this fire escape would do is bring a person down half a floor if there's an emergency. There's really no point to it. It's actually a waste of money. Who created this seating plan? These sports fans are really excited to be watching the game at the stadium. Well, everybody but this guy. Somebody thought it'd be a great idea to add one extra seat to make more money. They didn't think about the poor person who gets stuck sitting there, though. Who wants to pay money to stare at the back of a pillar? Oh, forget the ball game, guys! Look at this! I'm watching paint dry! It's so exciting! This city planner should be fired. It's the job of a city planner to plan everything about a city so that things are safe, efficient, and run smoothly. The city planner who had this bright idea hopefully was fired immediately. Who puts a telephone pole smack dab in the middle of the street? Just because they painted it yellow, it doesn't make it any less of an accident hazard. A colossal waste of money. Whoever designed this school had no problem with the school board wasting their money. They decided to build a set of stairs that led to the ceiling. So what's the point? Does an invisible door open up that leads to a secret part of the school? That's not how it works. Quickcrete is not really all that difficult to use. You mix it with water, pour it wherever you need concrete, and boom, you're done. Well, the person who built this tunnel either did not understand how to use Quickcrete or they were just too lazy to finish the job. They figured that if they just shoved the bags behind the wall, their boss would think they got the job done, when really they just went home early. Duct tape doesn't fix everything. When you're in a bind, you can usually turn to duct tape for a quick fix. You can temporarily fix a shoe, a book, a pen. You can even put your side mirror back on your car. But the key words there are temporarily fix. When you try using duct tape to permanently fix a telephone pole, you're going overboard. Duct tape might be strong, but it is not strong enough to hold up a telephone pole. You have to worry about everybody in the area because clearly it's not going to hold. Why? Aren't stairs supposed to lead to, well, something? At the top of these stairs, there should be a door. For some reason, there's just a set of stairs, complete with a railing, sitting in the middle of the yard. Seems to be a colossal waste of time and money. Unless you have a hard time climbing up hills, then I guess actually this does make sense. Was he drunk? The point of a line down the road is to make sure that drivers stay in their lane and that they drive straight. That means the lines themselves need to be straight. Whoever was in charge of this must have been drunk that day. Multiple failures. Drilling a hole for a pipe shouldn't be difficult for the experienced contractor, and clearly the person who did this wasn't experienced. It took 5 tries before they got the hole drilled in the correct spot. A huge waste of space. When people go up and down the stairs, they'll often go up one side and down on the other, and that requires just one hard rail on each side. Whoever designed this staircase put a handrail in the center, but it takes up half of the middle of the stairs. So now when people want to go up and down the stairs, they gotta squeeze through sideways if they're gonna fit. So what's the point? Subscribe for more.